Hello, and thank you for tuning into Kentucky Good Vibes. I'm your host, DISHAYNA Perkins, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing ace guitarist, vocalist, composer, arranger, performer, Randy Hall. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing, DISHAYNA? I'm doing great, doing wonderful in sunny Las Vegas. It's gonna be about 70 degrees today, so.
Okay, cool.
So it's all is well.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for interviewing here with me at Kentucky Good Vibes. And without further ado, who is Randy Hall?
Well, Randy Hall is hopefully a warm, caring individual, first human being, and I'm a musician. I'm a recording artist. I'm a writer. I'm a producer. I do just about everything in music, you know.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm
what
a
are
dad.
you? Okay. How old are your kids?
How old? My oldest one is 30.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
heck, you look 30.
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah, the fountain of youth. Okay. Okay. So with that said, tell us about how you got started in the music.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to look at, movies like Elvis Presley movies. I used to see, and this is kind of telling on my age, but the Beatles, I was a kid. I was a small kid, but the Beatles was around, the group, the Monkees, the Temptations, like all those great groups were around, and I just loved music. I just loved music. And we had a piano in the house, and I have two older sisters. So my parents wanted to make sure that, we had music and that we went to music classes. My sister took dancing classes. So music was just around me all the time. And my dad sang, and he liked to sing gospel music in the house. And so I wanted to be a rock star like Elvis Presley, because Elvis Presley got all the girls. I would see him, singing this song, Elvis Presley. And then when Michael Jackson came out, then, that just blew my mind, So I just always loved music. I always heard melodies in my head that I didn't hear on the radio, that I knew was my own. So that was me writing. And I would go to the piano and I would figure it out. So I was writing music when I was just a small kid, So I knew this is what I want to do. Okay,
cool. So does your kids follow in your footsteps?
Yes, but not really.
Okay. I mean, they dibble and dabble.
Yeah, these kids, they do their own thing, so.
Okay, so how would you best describe your music, like the difference from then until now?
Well, of course, I mean, as a kid, I don't know, I was writing probably stuff that sounded like A, B, C, D, E, F, I mean, my music has changed. It has changed as an adult. I mean, because I was so much into jazz by the time I got to be about 18, 19, 20. And I just wanted to be a jazz guitarist. Okay, cool. And so the reason why I started doing R&B music was because I realized that just to really make money in this industry, you're gonna have to sing. You're gonna have to sing too. And so when George Benson started, he was a great guitarist, but he started singing too. I said, I'm gonna try singing too. And all of a sudden, it seems like everything opened up when I started singing, and started doing my own records. And so I became now Randy Hall, the singer, guitarist, instead of guitarist, singer, so.
So when you first got started in the music, like with the industry and everything, were you independent artist, or were you with a group, or?
Well, I played with many bands growing up.
Okay.
I was in a band with a guy named Vince Wilburn Jr., and he happened to be Miles Davis's nephew.
Okay.
And so as we would play in talent shows when we were kids in grammar school, high school, and his mom would take the telephone and she would call Miles and let Miles hear, and she would take telephone and she would, you know, put it down there in the basement so he could listen to us rehearse. So, and he would give us pointers over the phone. And this is like one of the greatest musicians ever listening to us. And so as we got better, he wanted to fly us to New York to actually cut a record. Oh, cool. But yeah, but in the meantime, I was playing in clubs by the time I was 16 years old, you know, and started doing studio sessions like at a real young, early age. So I've been doing this my whole life. This is what and I went to college for music. I went to the Berklee College of Music in Boston. I went to the Chicago Conservatory in Chicago. So this is what I just want to do my whole life.
Oh, okay. So when did you actually realize that you had a gift for singing?
Well, when I did the Man with the Horn album. We want to do. Miles Davis had come to us and said, you know, I really want to get on R&B radio because, you know, he was always just on jazz stations, you know. And so we wrote a song, a guy named Bobby Irvin and I, great piano player, and Vince, the drummer, Felton Cruz, Glenn Burris. We were in New York and he wanted a song that would reach out and be embraced by R&B listeners. And so we wrote a song called The Man with the Horn. And I sang on the record. And the record took off. And it went #1 on Billboard Jazz. And that's when I said, okay, well, I guess I'm a singer now, you know, with the success I was having. So that's when, and then also too, after that, then I was recruited by a group called Pleasure. And Pleasure was an R&B group, very successful. And I became their lead singer, you know? So I guess once I was recruited like that, then I said, well, I guess I'm a singer now for sure. You know?
Do y'all have one of those unsungs on the TV One yet?
Pardon me?
Do y'all have one of those documentaries that they're in the making with TV? Is it TV One Unsung?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I met the guy that did Unsung, and he was saying that when he did the Ray Parker Jr. story, and I was, Ray Parker Jr. was my producer on my first album. Okay. And he was trying to find me, and he says, you know, your story's kind of unsung too. You know, maybe we should do something. But I didn't hear anything else after that. So maybe, you know, maybe in the works.
He's like, I'm gonna call as soon as I get off this interview.
Yeah.
My story needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say was the most challenging as an artist back in the 80s versus, you know, like just developing over the years?
What was most challenging compared to now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I don't know. I think it was less challenging because we didn't have rap, you know? And everybody, I mean, when rap came out, it was like a firestorm.
Yeah.
And us R&B singers, we all got scared because, because rap took over everything. And you saw a lot of bands and a lot of singers, and the radio was starting to only give rappers airplay, you know, because that's what the kids wanted to hear. I remember I did a show with New Edition, and who else was on the bill? Was it Pebbles? Was it somebody like that? And these two rappers came on, and these kids just went nuts. And I mean, even almost more than when they see New Edition, because rap it just did something to them. And I was like, wow. I said, I guess rap is going to be the music of the future. And boy, did it. And that's when hip hop came in.
Yeah.
And hip hop just blew up everything. Run DMC and all those guys. It just exploded. So
I know you was like, I gotta make up a rap. I don't want to do rap. I gotta make up a rap. I gotta do hip hop.
Yeah, I remember when I saw Prince he had some rap in his music, and I was like, this don't work. I just could, he had a microphone, and it was shaped like a gun, and I'm like, come on. I'm like, be Prince. I'm like, nah. Yeah.
Hey, he had the image.
Yeah, I mean, that image just wasn't right. And I saw so many R&B singers, but what we started doing was to put rap with our music. You would find a rapper and somebody,
collaborate,
be part of your music. So that it made it well together, R&B and rap. And rap was based on R&B music, because they were sampling all the R&B songs.
Yeah.
The past.
Has anyone sampled your songs or anything?
Yeah. The Man with the Horn was sampled, I think, by the guy who did the song Gangsta's Paradise a long time ago. And, all of us probably have been sampled so many times, but they take the grooves and they cut them and they splice them so much, you wouldn't be able to hardly recognize it. You would have to have like a real sampling police to go after them. So I'm pretty sure just about probably everything that I've done has been sampled, unless they just outright just took the groove, and no one has done that yet. Well, yes, they have. And I've got to go after. I've been hearing stuff. YouTube is great because everybody's songs is on there. So now I'm hearing stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, that's my song. That's my song. So yeah.
So growing up, who were your musical inspirations?
Mostly guitar players, because we were just talking about B.B. King, and to me, B.B. King was the greatest blues guitarist that ever lived. Jimi Hendrix, George Benson, Santana. Those were like my guitar heroes. Jeff Beck, those were my guitar heroes, And singing, to me, the person that resonated the most within my soul was Marvin Gaye. I love, and still today, I listen to his records and I just shake my head. I was like, he was just too much,
Okay, so can you tell us what was the first song that you ever wrote and released, like put out there?
Let me see. The first song that I think that was released, well, I had releases on small labels with artists that weren't that didn't do so well. But then the first record I think I had out was some songs by we did an album with Ramsey Lewis, the great piano player Ramsey Lewis. And that may have been the first, right before the Miles Davis records. And then that's when, and both of those sold a lot of units. And I remember getting really nice checks. When I was a kid, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do,
What you do with your first check?
Well, I would like to say something nice, like, hey, I gave it to charity or something like that.
He's like, man, I blew it.
Yeah, I probably went out and bought some musical equipment, bought another guitar or amp or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about your new song, Bring It On Home. Like, what was the inspiration from that?
Well, I wanted to write something that sounded different than everything else on the radio. Because, when I listen to radio and I listen to like Music Choice, and it seems like every song sounds the same. And what I mean by that is that it has the same tempo, and it's just like it always has been. When one person has a hit with a song, then everybody else copies that song trying to get that same hit. So I wanted my record to stand out. I wanted to do a different kind of groove. And then I don't hear sensual, sexy music no more. I don't hear love music too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I want to write something that just says to, the person that you love, no matter what you're going through, bring it on home to me. Bring it to me, I'm gonna make you feel better. We're gonna make it work. Don't worry about what's happening. We're gonna make it work. Just bring it on home.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, you can be comfortable.
Smooth brother.
Yeah,
Bring
you
it
can be
on.
comfortable right here. You can be comfortable in this space.
Yeah.
You know?
Daddy. Show you right.
Yeah,
Okay.
bring it on to daddy.
Okay. So, what are your personal do's and don'ts about being a professional entertainer?
What are your first do's and first don'ts? You know what? I think all artists are different. And what may work for one artist may not work for me. Like what works for Lil Nas X would not work for me, because that's just not my thing, you know. But it's perfect for him, you know. And so I don't think there are any do's and don'ts right now, because I've seen really crazy stuff and I was like, wow, how did they do that without getting in trouble, and they did it. And so I think people should be as creative as they can. What I will tell artists is that, especially aspiring artists, is that learn as much as you can about music, because, you know, if you can only do one thing in the music industry, then you may not succeed, or you may not be able to make money. You know, I'm educated in music. You know, I could teach. I'm a writer. I'm an arranger. When I wasn't making money singing, I was doing studio sessions, playing guitar. I was arranging for horns and for strings. And so I was always able to make a living. So that's what I would tell aspiring musicians, is learn how to, you know, if you just rap, I don't know, you know, but if you can rap and do 5 or 6 other things in music, then you have more of a chance to make money and to support yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So outside of music, what are your hobbies and interests?
That's a great question, because I'm so busy, I don't have hardly time to do anything else but music.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I don't really have many hobbies. I don't think I have any hobbies. You know, hobbies is me coming in the studio and writing another song. You know, I mean, my life is music. Everything in my life is music, you know.
And you know it's your passion, because that's your go-to.
That's all. Yeah, that's my go-to with everything. You know, is music, writing music, making music, performing music. I hardly have time for anything else. You know, music has been good to me because I've been able to sustain myself being a musician, being an artist. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot, especially as long as I've been doing it.
Okay. Okay. So given the opportunity, who would you like to collaborate on a music project, like at this point?
Another artist? Adele.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's amazing. I'm getting ready to collaborate with an artist named Terry Green. We're doing a duet. First duet I've done in a long time. She's a great artist. The Terry Green Project. I don't have to think about that. There have been many artists that have asked me to do duets with. But I kind of like controlling where I'm going creatively, you know? So now there are artists of the past I would love to have worked with. I would have loved to have worked with Marvin Gaye. I would have loved to have worked with who else? Any of the greats like Barry White or any of those. Those are my heroes, you know? Yeah. I'll tell you one. Her.
Yes. Everybody wants to work with her.
I want to work with her. Yeah, she's. I think she is so amazing. She plays guitar and I play guitar, and we could do a guitar duel. You know.
So, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on, or touring, new music, movies, anything?
Well, I'm working on a new album.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I'm working on a new album, and we're gonna try to get that done, and I'll get the record done by, I would say, by the spring. Like I said, I'm working on this Terry Green duet that's going to be released in February. So it's pretty busy, and then I perform out here in Vegas all the time. You know,
I went to Vegas back in June. My first time flying and everything. Yeah.
First time flying.
Yes.
First time flying.
Yes.
Really? Now that's kind of unusual. Why?
I'm 41.
Yeah. Why so long?
I was scared. I was scared, and I was like, "You never catch me flying. You never catch me doing this." So I'm facing my fears now. So
how was your flight?
I liked it. Yeah. But I mean, it was a last minute flight, and I rode Spirit, so I was sitting up like this the whole time.
Oh yeah, Spirit. Yeah, that's like a flying Greyhound. You know?
I was sitting up like this. My back was hurting. My legs was hurting. I couldn't spread my legs. Couldn't do nothing. Asked for water, and it was like $5. I'm like, I'll wait till I get to Vegas, and I get to Vegas. They're like, $5. I'm like, $5 for some water?
Right.
It was like I would say, cultural shock for me, you know, like getting used to this here in Kentucky, just paying 50 cents for some water, and then going, you know, to Vegas, and the water's expensive, but they didn't have ice. They did not.
And they didn't have no ice. Warm water.
None.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And it was so hot. So hot. But yeah. But I enjoyed myself.
That's good. That's good.
But I'll make sure next time I go out, I'll take water.
Yeah. Right. Well, next time you come, make sure you look me up, because I may be performing, and I'd love for you to come to my show.
Okay, cool. What part of Vegas are you in?
I'm right between Henderson and Las Vegas. I border Henderson and Las Vegas, so I love it out here. It's really beautiful, and I mean, just like right now, it's 70 degrees. Last week it was in the 80s. You know, but in the summertime, as you know, in July it's in the 100s.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
that's the downside for me.
I saw people walking barefoot. I saw people walking barefoot on them. It was so hot. I'm like, how can they walk barefoot? Like we got a car and was driving, and I was like, wow, it is too hot.
They must have had some really crusty feet in order to walk on that hot. You know,
I don't know, but I seen a couple people walking barefoot, and it was just like I said, it was completely different from what I'm used to. But, because even when I went to the Bahamas, it wasn't. I don't feel like the Bahamas was as hot as Vegas was. So,
yeah.
But I don't know. And I went in June to the Bahamas, and I went in June with Vegas, like not the same month, but different years. But yeah. But So with that said, is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up?
Well, I hope that you go on YouTube and look at my beautiful video, Bring It On Home. Make sure that you go on, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Randy Hall Music. So it's really simple. Randy Hall Music, you go on either Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
Okay.
And my song, you could buy it all digital download outlets, iTunes, Amazon. So, and I hope that you check me out and get into my music and see what I'm all about.
Definitely. I see your keyboards in the background and gold record back there. What else is back there?
Yeah.
Got it all propped up back there.
Yeah. Well, you should see everything over here. It's just a bunch of guitars, and it's just
okay.
But
is that the music room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a studio, but I don't know how to use it. I got everything. I don't know how to use it.
better get in there. Get your mic.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep buying stuff. I'm like, if I had this mic, I can do it. Then I get it. I'm like, I don't know how to hook it up. And then someone will say, yeah, I'll help you. And then they'll come over and then we end up doing a project that they're working on. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll never get around to mine. It is what it is.
Well, have fun. At least have fun with it. That's what it's all about.
Definitely. Okay, so with that said, thank you for interviewing once again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. God bless you. I really appreciate you having me here on your wonderful, wonderful show. This is fantastic.
Thank you. I will be in Reno, Nevada, at the end of December. So,
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going there, I guess, for New Year's Eve.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've never spent New Year's away from my children, but this year is a new year, new me. No, I'm just
hey, you deserve it. Get away from them kids for a little while.
I'm one of those moms to be like, no, I'd rather be with my kids. I'm like the old school granny that sits up in the screen door, house coat on.
Yeah, right. Oh, you're a wonderful mom then. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I miss the old school grandmas. The new school grandmas, they're a little different.
Right. Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and you stay safe out here. It's still a pandemic going on.
Thank you. With
that said, I will follow up with you in the near future.
Thank you, DISHAYNA. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.